Recording is on.
Ooh, echo.
Yeah,
Is
that's me. I'm actually going to get the. Uh, why don't you go, Mike?
okay.
Michael, first of all, it's Sunday, February 20th, 2022. WIKISPEED, stand up. And Michael, go ahead.
Hey, it is Michael Wilczuk from Canada. This past week, I got the recording for last week posted. I watched a couple of videos on Ross and how they pay attention to what newbies, I guess, would see and explain what they're doing and how things are found. I'm taking notes. I'm trying to learn from their examples. I investigated the automatic documentation generator that I think William was talking about. I think I found it. I have a couple of links inside my stand-up. One of them is for a Ross Auto Doc, which sounds like what William was talking about. It actually uses some comments inside your code with a package called deoxygen that creates kind of like simple web pages, I guess, for documentation, and they're linked together, so it's kind of handy, and it happens in the background. There's another package called RossDoc Lite, which does similar things. Anyway, and there's Industrial Training Master. They use Ross for industrial stuff as opposed to research projects, and it looks like they're. I'm going to have to do a little bit more digging, but it sounds like they've got a lot of documentation and self-help and packages pre-set up, so it could save us a lot of time. And I did a little bit of investigation into my problems with cloning GitHub repository. I think I figured out what I did wrong, but I also messed up. So I couldn't get any more progress today. Next week, hoping to continue on taking videos and getting the repository working with Tatiano's, what's it called, tutorial on video. And I'm hoping to get some italics and bold stuff done with my documentation per William's point last week. That you can do it with a Libre Office and do search with italics and bolding. So no blocks. So that's about it for me. Over to you, Lauren.
Okay, Carol.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm working just on the book. Do you want me to report on the book, or should I wait? Yeah, okay.
Sure.
All right, so this week I continued with 1 hour a day reading. So right now I'm at page 242 out of 263. So I'm literally like very, very close to the end. Some good ideas that the last part of the book really becomes difficult, like lots of new. So it jumps all the way from becoming a Scrum Master to how to transform a whole company into Agile. So I think the last section the last probably 1/3 of the book needs a lot more details, because I think the book just glosses over these important topics. So the next week I'll just continue until I finish, and then after that I'll jump back to where William and the other editors are editing and help with those sections. So that's my plan.
Okay. Any blocks?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is Lawrence Salter, Gabriel Island, British Columbia, Canada. And the past week, I kind of monitored things that were going on, but didn't do too much. Coming week is really the same tasks in the building things and in the red tape government reporting stuff. And blocks are, yes, taxes coming up still. They haven't disappeared. So that's the blocks. And so I think that's it for our stand-up portion. So now the retro, going back over to Michael.
Okay, I got 3 points done out of the 5, so I think I'm going to give myself a 7 out of 10. 9 for the team because we're continuing to meet and making progress. And I do not have a process improvement. That's about it.
Okay, Carol?
I'm gonna give myself 6 out of 10. For the team, I've seen some progress on the book and changes, so probably 8, 9 out of 10. In terms of process improvements, probably the only thing I will suggest for the book is to have a meeting with the whole team to discuss the book in general. As I said, the last third probably needs overhaul. That's the only thing that I can think of.
Okay, thank you. I have something to talk about in crosstalk about that. And so for myself, I'll give myself a 4. The team a 9. I kind of agree on that process improvement. And so that's it for the formal ceremonies, as they call them. Yeah, Carol, I'm almost wondering if that's another book.
It could be. Yeah, I think Joe wanted everything to be in one book so that even if a person starts from scratch, they have all the information in one book. We can propose to Joe to actually split it. I think, 1/3 of the book can be totally moved and expanded to a separate book, but it will be up to him.
Maybe volume 2 or something.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
with the way that the book is flowing, would like a big example of how you go from the first 2/3 of the book through to implementing for a whole business, would that be helpful, or is that going to just muddy the waters?
Sorry, I'm trying to understand your question. Are you asking if there is a good transition between the Scrum Master going to the whole company, or?
Yes. Because once you've got a Scrum Master trained, then you've got to train your product owner and then get everybody on board and get the company doing stuff. So trying to illustrate that without an example would, I don't know, it's pretty tough to visualize even when you've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can take someone that is not familiar with it and walk them through it without an example. I haven't gotten that far in the book, by the way.
I think that the book kind of, it does the transition so nicely that at some point I was reading about the whole company transition and I was thinking, how did we get up here, right? So the book does a good job in the transitioning. It's so much information. For example, they talk about how to fund the teams in agile way so that naturally, if let's say the company is in tough times, naturally the low return on investment projects will naturally fall off. And to me, as you said, this is a topic for an advanced level Scrum Master or somebody who has some good experience. And the book just touches very briefly on that, in my opinion. So if we want to train people, we will need to put a lot more information what that mean, like financing of the team. So yeah, I think the book flows nicely. Just the text is very very nicely going from that topic to the transition of the company. It's just that at some point I was wondering, well, the title of the book is Scrum Master, which is pretty much leading a small team, and suddenly we're all talking about the whole company overhaul. Probably we can write just a separate book about that.
I mean, I'm not sure. It's kind of something that you would run into right away if you actually took on a Scrum Master role. Right away, you're hitting the rest of the company, and that determines the success or failure of the support from the rest of the company.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very relevant and should be covered in briefly at least. And I'm wondering if kind of it may be like a 3-volume, a 2-volume, or a 3-volume thing that
Mm-hmm.
so it's the same book.
Well,
Yeah.
I kind of agree, Lauren, but not quite. If you're the first Scrum Master in a company, then you're probably going to run into the stuff where you have to justify the funding and help set it up and that kind of stuff. If you're the 15th Scrum Master, it's probably already all set up and you're just rolling along, right?
You're right. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. My experience is usually the company say, we will put this one single team on a Scrum and see how they're doing, right? While Joe is talking about literally the whole company switching and everybody switching to a Scrum team, which is, total change.
And a pretty tough sell.
I'm sorry, say that again?
And a pretty tough sell.
Yeah, it is a pretty tough sell. Like the leadership team in the company should be on board. Otherwise, it's tough.
Yeah. Okay. Any more crosstalk? I have something for off record, so hang on after I stop the recording. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Kirill?
Just wanted to ask, I don't know if it's for the recording session, wanted to understand more about the LRW project. What are you guys planning?
Yeah, that could be on.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Little Red Wagon project. Basically, we're looking to do an electric version of the little radio flyer that your kids played with, or maybe you played with when you were a kid. Just updated. So rather than make it, it's got to have 4 wheels, and here it's got to be rear-wheel drive, and you got to have a handle it and stuff. We want it to be a little bit more generic. So it can have 4 wheels, but it could have 3 or it could have 6. It could be 2-wheel drive, or it could be 4 or 6-wheel drive. So we don't want to put any artificial limits on it. We'd like it to go from like a little remote control model to something the size of a vehicle. And it's just how big of pieces you use. But in terms of how it's controlled and whether you use cameras or remote control or keypad or joystick, whatever you want to use to move it around, that is up to you as the designer. What do you want it to look like? And we're trying to come up with a support structure so that you can put different parts together and get it on the road or on the backyard, wherever you're going to use it.
Awesome. I see. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually probably more of a scope than we should have taken on, but
I like it. I like it being wide open for starters, and then we do some specific examples.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any more crosstalk? Okay. So stay on. I have a question for Carol. Okay. So